Oh, hey, what's up to our sidekicks and henchfolk out there in the mother-loving nation? You're currently tuning into the Miami Vice Stunt Spectacular CultPop podcast, episode 75, a show where we talk about movies and TV and comics and car flips.
Car flips.
And all the other nerdy things that scratch your nerdy itches. We're coming to you live from Young Chunk HQ, a bomb-ass podcast production space.
Young Chunk.
There it is. Here in Manayunk, Pennsylvania.
Do it again.
I'm your busted-ass host, JD of Johnny Destructo's Hero Complex, located at 4327 Main Street, Philadelphia, PA, 19127. It's a rad-ass comic shop that caters to you specifically, so come to me and I will sell you things that you like. With me tonight to talk is Brian.
Hello.
That's you. Go. Okay. And also Noel. Go.
I'm Brian.
Damn it. We practiced this.
Not enough,
Every
clearly,
time.
because
Also,
I'm Brian.
in the booth is our trusty producer, Dylan. Remember, if
Dylan.
anything goes wrong, Dylan the Great did it.
Dylon.
Before we jump into the show, ass first, we want to shout out the Facebook group Omnibuds Cafe, a community obsessed with graphic novels, comic books, and manga. We're lucky enough to be their YouTubers of the month. And we welcome you. Hopefully you're here hanging out with us. Please feel free to comment, like, subscribe, do all the nasty, dirty stuff that you like to do with YouTube videos, like hitting the bell to make sure that you get notified. And we like emails a little back and forth. So email us at cultpopgo@gmail.com.
If they should feel free, though, if they want to.
The nasty stuff that you
Do the nasty, dirty stuff
With
you like to do
YouTube
for the
videos.
YouTubes.
with the YouTube videos.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like
Not RedTube,
there's
YouTube.
They can, though.
we can't go a week without you making
A YouTube reference. Listen,
RedTube reference.
it's part of my life. We do have a letters.
Is that right?
What?
Lots and lots and lots and lots of letters.
There's a letter.
Who sent this?
Well, no,
letter?
but there are lots of letters
Yeah.
that make up the email.
Some people call those sentences.
Some people.
That are
I would call
that are made up of letters. Pink
In
says,
punctuation.
Well, Pink Apocalypse.
Pink Apocalypse
That was
says,
excellent.
yo.
Yes.
On a previous show, you all talked about toxic fandoms and old heads were mentioned who will bitch about any change from printed lore.
Truth.
It made me reflect on my reactions to my Marvel favorites that became depicted on the screen. When I was little, Iron Man was probably my top favorite because of the demon in the bottle / alcoholism that followed him. Gripping story work. When he hit the screen, I wondered how they would handle this single defining aspect of his character for me, subjectively. We never got it, save one drunk scene where he pees in his suit, right?
And he did say a little like, I shouldn't drink like this. Yeah. And then the rest of the movie went forward after that.
Yeah. He was played as a quippy fuckboy that felt bad about his role in the military-industrial complex, who then later sided with the government in Civil War. It left me cold. I thawed out a little with his relationship to Pepper, but ultimately I cried fiercely when Vision died and felt virtually nothing when Stark died. On the other hand, as a child, I was bored and disinterested with who I perceived as a one-note Steve Rogers, but was riveted by him on the screen. He's probably my favorite character in the MCU, and I still feel the narrative loss. I'm open and friendly to change. How it hits me is beyond my control. It just does to me what it does. I do wonder if some comic book fans subconsciously fill in missing emotional connection work that is or isn't being done by screenwriters and give overly soft reviews or unfair venomous rejections accordingly. It puzzles me. Take care, Pink.
To answer as eloquently, first of all, there was no questions there, but to respond as eloquently as humanly possible, yes.
That's true.
Nailed it.
Yeah. No, she's absolutely right. Like
Pink rarely misses.
Us old heads, I think we have to do our best to not become the toxic pieces of shit, because we carry baggage about all of this stuff, whether we intentionally do or not. When something that we've been reading for 20 or 30 years goes through a temporary change or is reflected differently in some piece of media, you have two choices. You feed the good wolf or the bad wolf. You reject it because it's not what you remember and it's not what you want, and you subjectively reject it, sight unseen. Or you try and meet the media on its terms, and just absorb it as best you can. After that, you can't control your response. It's work.
I would say the third wolf would be, if you don't like it, don't bother.
That also, it's maybe not for us anymore.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Removal is the third wolf.
Yeah.
The removal is the third wolf.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually like metaphorically, you take a pork chop and throw it, and the wolf just like.
Wolf's out.
Yeah.
Yeah. You never see him again.
Wolves go yipe, 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 right? I've never met any.
The wolf of removal does.
The wolf of removal goes yipe, yipe, yipe.
We I think us fans mistakenly start to think that we own these characters.
Yeah, dude.
These IP.
I think it was also
We don't
easier to
own
think
them.
that when we were younger because
Yeah.
you couldn't really talk to a lot of people that liked it too, right? So it was just like, oh, this is my. And also, when you're younger, your world is just occupies a
Smaller.
different kind of space,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you're like, I love this thing. The fact that anyone else has ever read Superman is pretty surprising to me. You know?
Yeah. It's me in my bedroom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I-
you're in that world, and it's very cool. I think also you don't get as much, this isn't how I want it to be as a kid, because you're just experiencing this thing, right? You're not like, oh, I miss this other way that it was. Although, of course, you can still want it to be different and not like the way it's going. I also think that the being resistant to change and not liking something are two different things.
Oh yeah,
You can be like, oh yeah, it would be fine if they changed something, but I don't like this. This
Yeah,
isn't
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Which I think is fine. Let's see. Can you scroll up to the thing above? I think there was a point about that. No, I don't know.
While
what
you're
it was.
looking, I didn't see. I had no interest in Iron Man. Just to go back to the email, I had no interest in Iron Man, but the movie made me interested in him. Same thing with Captain
Me too.
America.
We're
Captain
both. Me
America
too.
was not my guy. So having it personified by Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr.,
I always
they
had-
brought them to life for me.
I was reading both. Yeah, I was. It was post Civil War, right? Like, I got back into single issues during Civil War, and I started reading Iron Man then, Extremis, and then Director of Shield.
Yeah.
Like him trying to be a bureaucrat and being fucking terrible at it. I really enjoyed that, and I was reading all the Ed Brubaker stuff.
Oh, right on.
So, older Cap, was always kind of one note and a symbol.
Yeah.
But then they turned it into an espionage book. So when the movies came along, I was like, please just capture this a little bit. And they did, and it was wonderful.
Nice.
I remembered the other thing
Go.
that I was running. So when I was younger, I was, as I think you guys know, but our audience may not, I was very devoted to the original way that characters were presented, right?
Yes.
So I grew up in an era with second generation heroes and different costumes on the X-Men and different people in the X-Men and that kind of thing. Wally West was the Flash.
That's my dude.
And he was your dude. And I loved him because he was the Flash. But I was like, but what about Barry Allen?
Yeah.
When's he coming back, right? What about the 5 original X-Men? And though I happen to mention those too, but I was all about like just the original way.
Were you a Hal guy?
Oh, yeah.
Did you not like Kyle? Like, get this kid out of here.
Well, he didn't come around till later, and I didn't. But of course, I did because he was Green Lantern.
Okay.
But I was
You'd be,
like,
begrudgingly, like, fine.
I was like, who's this guy?
the Guardians chose him. I guess he's okay.
And the whole one Guardian.
One Guardian.
And so, right. But
Barely a quorum. Come on.
yeah, exactly.
There's a
He's
one
very
Guardian
powerful.
form.
But so yeah, I was not into it, but also was into it because it was still Green Lantern. But I pined for like the Silver Age, right? Which
Did
is
you
like,
write? Were you part of that group that wrote hate letters to Ron Mars for
Yes.
killing off Hal Jordan?
would you consider like if you deliver a letter in
He did,
person,
but
yeah,
but he-
vocally?
Yeah.
I didn't do that either.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
He did write letters, but he tied them to pigeons and just let them free. It was like expunging the bad thoughts.
Yeah.
I saw one of them a couple of weeks ago. A pigeon.
pigeon
One
with
of
the-
them came back. And he
Oh,
said,
and then,
yeah,
like,
and I was like, you still got the letter.
return to
but-
sender.
Yeah. It stamped on him.
Thanks,
I
guys.
wonder what he got up to
I'll be
in
here
the
all
intervening
night.
years.
They're not all going to be bangers, but they all will be thoughtful.
So anyway, yeah, I loved those things and grew to like the different stuff. Kyle Rayner is awesome.
I love Kyle.
Wally
That was
West
my
is
dude.
awesome.
Yeah.
And
And Guy Gardner is Guy
all right.
Gardner.
Yeah,
I
he
grew
got better.
to, I grew to love Guy Gardner.
He
Yeah.
has a ring.
He does, and that's cool. And, so yeah, then I grew to love that kind of thing. And there are still things that I'm like, I like it better when it was the other way.
Yeah.
you know. And then there's other things that I'm like, it's pretty cool change.
Pink, you touch on something that like people like us, right? I include you in that. People like us who continue to enjoy these things past adolescence, I think we do need to like check ourselves every once in a while. Am I being negative because of the piece of media I'm absorbing, or am I being negative because of the baggage I bring to it? And if either one of those are true, do our best not to yuck other people's yum. Like, it's anybody enjoying Superman is good for Superman, and it's good for you as a fan of Superman. So if it's not what you want, boycotting or attacking other people for liking it, or whatever your hate campaigns online, that is not helpful. Evangelize what you like. Don't spend your time on what you hate, which is why I don't think we should ever do any more Rebel Moon coverage.
Reviews. Yeah.
We're done. We're done with Rebel Moon.
Hopefully they're done. Yeah. Hopefully he's done with Rebel Moon.
That lasted not even 10 seconds.
Oh, damn it. Sorry, you're right.
But I mean,
failed.
To segue into the next segment.
A segwayment?
Brian,
Yeah.
what have you been up to this week?
Well, Noel, I was hoping that I would get to talk first about this because Superman is a lot of what I've been up to this week in regards to this question and this show. So we saw the suit reveal.
Oh, we did.
For the new movie.
Yeah, we did.
Written and directed by James Gunn.
JD's
with
grimace
starring,
of joy.
starring
Says it
David
all.
Horner.
We sure did. We saw the reveal.
I was into it, and My Adventures of Superman Season 2 released a trailer, right? Now,
the first season.
It's so good.
I'm like
very
6 episodes in. I need to
is
finish
that right?
it.
Yeah.
Today, I chose to get caught up on X-Men 97.
Okay. That's cool, too.
Oh, I didn't watch today. It's so fun. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So that is awesome. Superman, My Adventures of Superman with Superman, Season 2.
My buddy Superman.
Yeah. That's the
My guy, Super guy.
I am Jimmy Olsen, and this is my friend Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
Season
of those
2.
shows are not made here.
How was
My
the
triple
trailer?
name.
How was the trailer?
The trailer was cool. There was a lot of stuff that was just like, was that in Season 1 or Season 2? I'm not sure. Because what are they going to show you in the trailer? It's him like fighting robots and what have you. But
rinse, repeat.
Exactly. And but then they do other stuff too. And I really like the idea that Lois and Jimmy know that he is Superman. It's awesome. And they have a cool like Lois says, "Well, what are we going to do?" He says, "We should do my plan." "What's your?" And he flies away with her.
Yeah. That's a delightful show.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's so great. It's so like joyful and just like straightforward Superman story with like straightforwardness of his character. I mean, you get a couple of character reveals, one of whom was in the previous season, but not so much identified as Lex Luthor.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Spoilers.
yes. And Supergirl.
Yeah, that's right.
No,
Oh.
he's not in it. He's just like,
Wait,
oh, that
was
character.
Supergirl in Season 1?
No.
Oh, okay. I was like, I
No.
missed that. Okay.
I did see that reveal.
You see a baby with blonde hair, and he says, "I'm not alone." A baby,
Yeah.
and then Supergirl flies towards the camera, and as a a girl,
Not a baby.
teenager, not a baby, yeah. So who knows what the deal is?
Yeah.
Maybe she comes back from the future, or the two people are different people.
Maybe she's a super baby. Maybe it's
Super
a
baby.
Looper scenario where she came back from the future to the past
Underrated film.
to kill
Oh,
herself.
I like that movie a
Reference.
lot.
I like Looper a lot.
It's a really good movie.
Ryan
We should
Johnson
talk
has
about
not
that
made a
for
bad
while.
movie.
Ryan Johnson.
Has not made a bad movie.
So anyway, My Adventures of Superman Season 2, not so much new in the trailer, but whatever.
We're still
It's
excited
you're
for
getting-
it.
you're getting
We should do.
stoked.
We should do sometime this summer. It's supposed to come out. I think it
25th
of May
this
or
month,
this
May,
month?
a 1 hour premiere on Toonami, and then the next day on Max.
Nice.
Shit, maybe we should do a recap of the first or review of the first season.
I'll rewatch it.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's fun.
I'll finish it.
Cool.
Hey, Brian.
Nothing I've
no,
said
wait,
has.
not Brian.
Oh, no.
Wait,
You're-
no,
No, you're not done. He's
Oh, you're not done?
We're gonna.
So-
what were your thoughts about the suit reveal?
Oh, yeah, the reveal.
So I like it. I'm not super into the collar, right? Yes, it's true. But because
He said
the word
super.
oh, God damn it.
He's called Superman.
Yeah.
And
Cut the show. We're done.
so
Nope.
I did see a Photoshop with the lower collar, and I was like, "Oh, that looks
better.
I like that."
Yeah.
Right.
I like the collar.
The rest of the
like
suit,
the
I'm
collar a
cool.
lot, too.
I'm not against the collar, right? I liked it in the New 52, and I'm not like oh, I don't want that. But I think I would prefer it the other way. I also like with the collar the little red piping, which this does not have.
It's got like light blue piping.
Oh, does it?
In the same spot. Yeah.
I didn't see that.
So it reminds me of a form-fitting one-piece version of like a motorcycle jacket that kind of comes up.
Yeah.
Like a
it
guard.
does. Yeah.
Which I think is awesome.
Cool.
I love the idea.
Kryptonian's future-y.
I love the idea of it
Yeah.
being like a Kryptonian flight suit, not a leotard.
Yeah.
Right?
And
like,
it makes sense that, like, I don't know how it was perceived in Action Comics #1 or whatever, but
We're looking
was
at it
that
now,
seen
yeah.
as futuristic? I don't know. Maybe. And it was certainly supposed to be the outfit of, well, later on, the outfit of Krypton, which was an advanced society.
yeah.
So I like that idea that it would look future-y from now.
We have it on the large screen.
We have it
Sorry,
on the
everybody.
large screen.
Yeah.
We can see it. And this is an
The
odd
folks at home
choice
can see it, too.
for-
Oh, what?
The folks at home can see it
That's
too.
cool.
Oh, you put it up?
That's
Thank you.
very cool. Thank you, Dylan.
Skiddly-dee-doo.
Enjoy that, folks at home, or wherever you are. I don't know where you are, but the suit. This is an odd way to reveal.
Yeah, man.
This suit. He looks sad and put upon, and I'm not sure that is the character that we will see, given
Yeah.
the other stuff that he said, and I hope that it's not.
It looks like he just sat, like, I just sat down. I've already had a fight just now. My suit is all
Dirty.
damaged. It's
Yeah.
dirty. I've got my boots off. Oh, there's Polaris outside. I guess murdering Metropolis. I guess I got to put my boots on.
My favorite.
Tomorrow would be
takes.
fine.
My favorite takes online have made two comparisons that I thought were pretty interesting. One, side by side, shown the famous Alex Ross sketch painting.
him in the
of
chair.
Him in the
chair.
chair
Yeah.
with his
Yeah,
shirt
yeah, it's
open.
cool.
Just like.
Yeah.
Like the weight is finally down for a minute, and then also talking about
his boots
how like a first responder or a fireman putting on their
Right.
gear, like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
idea of this being an everyman. He chooses to be an everyman, even though he has the power of a god.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you know what? I choose to believe that. I like that.
Given the other
suit's a
stuff
bit
that James
tattered,
Gunn has said about it, I don't think that I'm surprised that this like sort of down image is what they chose. He may also be doing that because the first thing that he showed was just the suit with snow around it, this very
Just the
austere,
shield, yeah.
or just the shield, this very austere kind of picture, and he may be, I don't know, crafting like a particular.
Someone also showed
depth
me
to it. I don't
they
know.
they did a bunch of like other suit reveal pictures side by side.
Yeah.
Every single one of them is an action pose, and this one's him
It's not
sitting down.
right. It's the only
Yeah.
time I've ever seen it. But there's action in the background, which I think is really cool because one, I think that looks like something that would be cool to see if it's like this in the movie. Not necessarily that, but something like that. And I like that it's in the background. It's like it's more interesting.
Yeah,
right?
I mean his
Artistically.
job never stops, right?
Yeah.
He's
so-
a never-ending battle. There.
Yeah, I appreciated the aesthetic. I love memes, and the fact that we're getting a bunch of like in shoe stores.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
hilarious.
And like pay less.
But I will say my favorite so far, which
Yeah.
I have every time I see it, I comment on it. Someone photoshopped Henry Cavill in his Superman suit
Oh, yeah.
behind him,
I saw that.
and the caption being like, "David's in Henry Cavill's shadow now," because that suit was so much better. One, him placed behind him, sitting like this. That's not where the light source comes from.
That's what I said.
Not in the shadow.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, the way he's standing there smiling behind him.
Little ominous.
So predatory.
Yeah.
Like he's about to violently sniff his hair. Like it is so weird. And that's like you know, like they loaded that bullet and they're ready. They're just like, yeah, take this meme. I was just
Yeah.
like, oh God, that's so
It's not
sad.
you know
Yeah.
what you wanted.
Yeah, it's not good.
The things that I noticed about this, I like the boot detailing. I like
Yeah.
that it
Oh, yeah.
exists, right? It's not the classic triangle, but it's something different. The colors are great, right? It's it's a bright,
So
but not
the pants,
light blue.
the pants and the boots are gonna be what it whole thing is. It's just it seems like there's some battle damage on the top left.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
And
the blue of the pants looks great.
because the Superman suit blue for a while now has been not really the vibrant blue, light but not very light blue that I prefer.
The last 20 years
Yeah,
of maybe longer than that.
yeah.
It's like these comic properties, it's like they do their best to mute it because it's considered more corny.
Especially earlier on.
Right.
It was like, whatever you do, it's got to be, you got to believe it could happen in real
They
world.
like that's why we've got. Why is his underwear so small? That's why we have.
Wow, looking at this.
We're looking at Brandon Routh's reveal and his
directed
briefs. Brian Singer.
That's why.
His briefs are like bikini briefs compared to like the comic. But
and also the colors. This is very different
This is
from
al-
what you
they're
guys are
also
talking
muted,
about. But like
yeah.
dull red and lighter blue, and it's not. Superhero costumes have really gotten way better since that time too.
Yeah.
Like a lot of stuff has been very, very good. You also have the red trunks and what looks like a yellow belt.
Yeah.
Which I am really into.
I think this is an interesting choice that doesn't quite work for me.
This particular image.
The
Right,
shot
right,
of him looking exhausted and put upon and frowning while a threat is already happening in the background, you know?
Yeah.
If he wasn't already shooting a beam, maybe if it was just arriving something, and I understand it's just a shot. I get it. But I did look at it and go,
Isn't that, yeah.
huh.
Now, let
that's
me
not
put
what
it to you
I
this
expected.
way. He has super speed. This is happening in like a microsecond, and
Yeah.
this is just his expression because he's not going to sit there.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's so fast. He's not going to sit
Right.
there just like, well, I guess I
also-
gotta.
Yeah,
he's also, he's also not sad. He's just concentrating on his boot.
Yeah, contemplative. Actually, I saw it as like
Lefty
Yeah, there
loosey,
is definitely like a
righty-tighty.
down.
Yeah.
That's how he puts on boots.
yeah.
Do you use,
tightens them.
I mean, when was the last time you smiled putting on shoes? You just do it.
It's true. Yeah.
That's true. I'm getting ready to go out.
But
Yeah.
I am excited to see him standing up.
Yeah.
I want
You
to
love
see the
people
whole.
standing up.
I love standing.
I
up.
am genuinely considering
Rory Count.
avoiding, just rethinking my whole life. No, I'm genuinely considering avoiding all trailers for this.
I won't be able to.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that I'm strong enough, but as soon as it drops, I'd be like, that was me pressing play a lot.
That's not
On RedTube.
It's not going to.
Yeah,
you're
on
going to play and pause it, JD, just on and off.
Red and blue too.
I'm
Red and blue, too.
I'm genuinely considering it. It's a year. It's no big deal.
yeah.
Looks cool.
Hey Noel, what have you been up to this week? Huh?
Well, I discovered we to come up with ideas for the show. We started looking. Hey, what happened 25 years ago? What happened 30 years ago? To kind of like talk.
couldn't
like,
remember.
some ideas. Yeah, which like it's a sneak peek of some other shows we're doing this later this month. And I discovered a podcast called 50 Miles Per Hour.
Oh.
It is a 50 episode limited podcast about the making, reception, and legacy of Speed.
Interesting.
Starring
Was
Keanu
that the
Reeves,
speed
Sandra
that they
Bullock.
couldn't go slower then?
I thought it was 55 miles an hour.
It's 50.
That's pretty.
No.
I mean, it's fast.
I mean, yeah,
Not
but
as
it's a
fast
bus.
as I remembered.
A bus going 50 is.
I'm not saying it's not a problem.
I think it was. If it was any
60 miles an hour.
if it was any faster than 50, then literally the movie would be over. Like they can't like
60,
just turn
say it's 60.
at 60.
What episode are you on now?
8.
8.
So
Cool.
each
Wait,
episode.
how many are there?
50.
Oh, it's 50.
It's
oh, okay.
it started last year. It started like last summer, and it will end the week of the 30th anniversary. It came out 1994, June 12th.
And for anyone who wasn't
fans.
around for 1999's Speed, starring Keanu
94.
Reeves, 94, Keanu Reeves and
Sandra Bullock,
Sandra Bullock,
Dennis Hopper,
And
Dennis Hopper.
Yeah.
It Swiffered the nation. It was like a phenomenon action movie.
Yeah, it was only made for it was a first time director.
Not my.
Anybody that only knows Keanu Reeves from John Wick, that's funny. 30 years ago, he was just like a kid who couldn't get a job that wasn't a surfer.
That's true.
Sandra Bullock was completely unknown.
Wait, was she? Was this
Jeff
her-
Daniels, yeah, it was like her
was it?
first. Like it wasn't her first role ever.
But her
It was
first
her
big-
first big role.
Is that right?
Jeff Daniels.
Jeff Daniels is in it.
Yeah, he's his partner. You guys need to rewatch Speed.
I would
This
love to
movie
rewatch
is
Speed.
So good. Okay, so
Can.
30 years ago, it was considered a joke. The concept was a bit of a joke, and it was only supposed to it cost $20 million to make, and they did it kind of under the radar with a first time director. And it was like the movie of the year.
Yeah.
Everyone freaked out about it. Multiple viewings. It was the most like popular action movie since Die Hard.
The plot is a young police officer must prevent a bomb exploding aboard a city bus by keeping its speed above 50 miles per hour.
Yeah, directed by Jan de Bont, with written by Graham Yost.
Has he done anything? Since
Jan de
then?
Bont, Twisters. Or Twister?
The Haunting.
Twister,
And
The
Minority-
Haunting?
Oh, he
No,
produced the
no, no.
Minority.
That was a good movie.
He only did like 5 movies before retiring, but he used to work with Paul Verhoeven. They both came from Holland together.
Oh yeah.
It won 2 Oscars.
Yeah.
Wow. For what?
Technical Oscars,
Okay.
like sound design and something else.
Cool.
But
Best bus.
it is.
Oh
it is.
yeah. There were some good buses in. What was it? 99.
94.
94.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was-
even better.
It was a bus
buses.
of a year.
Yeah.
I think we've mentioned this on the show before. I can't stress enough. It is just such an efficient, fun movie. I'm going to my camera here. It is awesome. It is simple. It is linear. It's meat and potatoes,
It's over the
but
top.
it's over the top. But
Pop
it's
quiz, hot
quality
They
shot.
do everything so
Is that from-
practically.
Is that
It-
from this?
Yeah.
It is. It's meat and potatoes, but it's like some of the best prepared meat and potatoes you're gonna have in a movie. Yeah, Alan Ruck is
So,
in it.
Yeah. I remember, for some reason, what always stuck with me from Speed was, oh, hey, that's the guy from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah. And Spin City.
It's like, oh, I guess good for him for getting more work.
Yeah. So the podcast itself,
Star Trek.
the podcast is hosted by I forget his first name, but his name is Hapley. He is a well-respected critic and journalist in LA. He's been doing it for like 2 decades. When he was 12, this movie came out, and he was obsessed with it, and it just kind of became an oral storytelling thing. He has interviewed literally everyone involved with this
Really?
movie. Other critics, Jan de Bont himself, the writer, almost every single actor, including
What about Beth Grant?
yeah.
Beth Grant.
Yeah, sure. So the first, I would suggest everyone listen to the very first episode of this podcast because it gives you kind of like what you're in for. It's just 20 minutes, and they do give you snippets of interviews.
Is that the
and
average length? Around 20 minutes, or is that a
They're
shorter
20
one?
minutes to an hour.
Okay.
Like it just
All right.
depends on the miles per hour you're at. Each one, it's obviously 1 mile per hour, 2 mile per hour, 3 mile per hour, going up to 50. They're at 45 in real time right now.
wow, okay.
Wait, was
but-
the first one was 20 minutes though? Not
Yeah.
1 minute.
It was 20
Okay.
minutes. Yeah,
Right,
no. It's not that.
Oh,
it's not
okay.
that
I
intense.
got you.
It's just
Okay.
it was a shorter episode because it was the beginning.
I-
But one of the snippets of interviews they do is of what's her name, Beth?
Beth.
Helen. She played Helen.
Yeah,
Beth Grant.
saying that spoilers for a 30-year-old movie, she could not wait for her character to get killed because she hated her character.
Oh,
Like
nice.
this character was so selfish and so shitty the whole time and only cared about herself. When she got killed, I was happy about it.
That's awesome.
good.
Yeah, just real cool
was
stuff.
good at it, though.
Yeah, real cool stuff like that from character actors and writers. There's a whole episode about Paramount had the movie and they were going to produce it, and then they got turnaround and they lost it, and then somebody like it's real in the weeds and it's so good. But
Hey,
let's rewatch Speed. It's fantastic.
What has Jan
yes.
de Bont been doing recently?
He retired.
Is that right?
Yeah, he the last movie I think he directed was Tomb Raider: Cradle of Life.
Cradle of Life.
Tomb Raider Part 2 with Angelina Jolie, and since then he's just been kind of retired. Went back to Holland for a little while. He's produced a couple of movies, but yeah, no.
Yeah, because Minority Report was that
He
after
produced
that?
it. Yeah, it was after that.
I don't know the other movie.
Pink Apocalypse is in the chat saying a headline popped a couple days ago that Bullock and Reeves want to do a new one.
That headline is because of the podcast because they just did a joint interview together.
Nice.
Yeah, it's Pink. It is an awesome time capsule of this. It is such a good old school action movie, like the last of an era almost. That I'm surprised it's not in the conversation more, like Die Hard is, like The Matrix is. Like it is that much of a cultural phenomenon of a movie.
Nice. I'm not entirely sure. I like Speed enough to listen to 50
That's a lot.
episodes of a podcast.
It's not
about
just
Speed.
about learning about speed. It's also like the process of getting the movie made, everybody's involvement in it, and how all of these little side stories intertwine with a couple of like interstitials of talking with other critics and things that stemmed from or led to this movie. Like it's
you guys.
it's almost you don't have to care about the subject.
Oh yeah, it's just
good-
interesting if you like movie
Yeah.
making and that.
Yep.
Yeah. You guys. So in the first one it was a bus, and I think a boat in the second one.
Yes.
What if the
Speed to
third
cruise
one?
control.
Yes. Climate control. Right. The Earth is moving too fast.
What?
It's called Geostorm. They made
shit.
this
B3
movie.
Geostorm?
Well, they made it. Yeah.
The
JD,
atmosphere is whipping off.
what? I mean, you didn't do anything this week, right?
Huh.
I read a novel.
In this week?
I was wrong.
Well, I mean,
Well,
kinda
all
reading it
right.
for a
You
while.
finished it this week.
I finished a novel
right.
today.
today.
So I'm a big Avatar: The Last Airbender fan. I like both cartoons. There is the Last Airbender original cartoon, which I just call the Team Avatar cartoon, and then there is
Why don't you just call it Avatar: The Last Airbender?
Team
that's
Avatar.
It's too many. It's too many words.
Avatar team.
And Korra.
Yes.
Korra, which I also like
Legend
very
of
much.
Korra.
The Legend of Korra. Team Korra.
What about Team Avatar, the live action one?
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Team
I already forgot
Team
about that one.
Fleshy Avatar.
Team Fleshy Avatar.
Team Flesh.
It's all about fleshy avatars.
And so, for anyone who is a fan of the Avatar series, you know that there was an Avatar called Kyoshi, and she was, I think, 2 before Aang. And one of the creators of Avatar, and then F.C. Yee wrote this novel. It's actually a trilogy of novels. The first one's called Rise of Kyoshi, and I thought, I'll give it a go. I'll see how it is.
Whatever.
And I was expecting sort of just a YA cutesy Avatar tale, and it is pretty great.
That's awesome.
Kyoshi may be shaping up to be my favorite of the Avatars.
And she has appeared briefly in animated
Very
stuff?
briefly.
Or, okay,
You'll
yeah.
see her she'll have like a conversation with Aang, because, when he,
You can
he's able
access
to,
the other avatars.
Yes, you're able to
Sometimes.
access, yeah.
Yeah.
Like a phone call.
Like
And,
a phone call. But in the old days when you had to
More
pay
like a
for it.
Zoom though, because you could see them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
like
and you have to
blue.
pay for the time that you use, so you can't always do it.
And
Which is the thing, I think, right?
I don't know.
this was awesome. I was really surprised at some of the violence that is in this book. Since it stems from a Nickelodeon show,
Murder.
it has more murder than the other the other two
Well,
shows
it's now
combined.
written, the people who liked that when they were kids are now adults.
Yeah, it's true.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe this is
so fuck those kids.
exactly.
and-
That's what I said.
She follows the
Do
completely.
you like Avatar? Fuck you.
Those kids. Sorry. We're terrible. I'm
She
sorry.
has a completely different road to becoming the Avatar than any of the other avatars. I was
interesting.
immediately surprised by how different her rise is.
Yeah.
The rise of Kyoshi. She's a very
the
different
couple
thing,
book-
and I don't want to spoil any of it.
Title is very
but it is way more adult than I anticipated, way more violent than I anticipated, but also awesome. I think I'm listening
weep?
to it on Audible.
Okay.
And I think I clapped at one point. I was like,
Oh, yeah?
holy shit. Just highly recommend Avatar: The Last Airbender, Rise of Kyoshi. Can't wait to start the next one. Although I am going to wait to start the next one. I can wait to start the next
You
one.
can wait.
Because I just started,
waiting right now.
I just started Shogun, the novel.
Oh, yeah,
Because we've
because
been
you saw
watching
the
this-
show.
We're still watching
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
I need to watch it.
I'm actively bummed that I'm here doing this because I want to be home watching Shogun.
Oh, yeah.
I
fuck
can't
You were
wait.
too.
saying that before
That's
the
cool.
show.
Yeah,
It's kind of
yeah.
rude.
Do you guys mind if I just go and watch?
Yeah, we don't need
We
you.
said no.
Bye.
Before I even finish the sentence.
Dylan, get in here.
yeah.
Get rid of this cat.
5 out of 5 stars. The Rise of Kyoshi. Let me know if did anybody else read this novel.
This is
Let
the
me
first
know.
of the trilogies?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, please email us and let us know because I want to talk to somebody about it.
Is this the first of their books, their novel
Yeah.
in the world of Avatar?
That I'm aware of. Yes.
Okay, cool.
So they did these 3 novels, and then they did another Avatar one-shot novel, and I
Okay.
don't remember that Avatar's name.
It was a different Avatar, though.
Yes.
Steve.
Steve. Oh, yeah, he was cool.
Steve the
How
Avatar.
far does it go back? Do they ever say? Is it
7 years.
I mean, like all of the
All of the Avatar-
all
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
Avatars.
Yeah, yeah.
Hundreds.
It's just
Very
like
long-
time
hundreds.
immemorial.
I mean, they're like 100 years between each one usually.
Oh, that's
They
true.
do show how the first Avatar was came to be in the Legend of Korra.
Oh, yeah? That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, highly recommend if you can get around to it. I say you should do it.
Yeah.
What else we got? Oh, hey, let's do a main review.
Let's talk about it.
Is that the Fall Guy? Or just
speaking
Fall
of
Guy?
action movies,
Whoa.
Yeah, it's an action movie kind of week.
like Speed,
Transition.
Dun, 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 dun. Excellent score in that movie too.
which
Is that
one?
the speed score?
Speed.
Really?
Oh fuck yeah, man.
Oh man.
Speed.
I can't wait to-
Speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speed.
Yeah. I like how they took another famous
Yeah.
score and then just said speed.
Yeah.
I thought it was just a tour de force. It was brilliant.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit like the
What a thing to
Superman
do.
theme, but it's like
mean
a
Batman.
kid that
Yeah.
just says speed.
Yeah.
Nobody-
No, I'm talking about the John Williams.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nobody was thinking of that at the time.
Speed,
And they did
speed,
it.
speed, speed,
ahead of its time.
speed.
Yeah.
Speed,
Except that it happened
speed,
right then, so
speed.
it wasn't. Yeah. And to have
50 miles an
Sandra
hour.
Bullock and Dennis Hopper
Don't
it
go under.
in the universe of the movie.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk about
Speed,
that.
okay, let's go back to Speed. It's structured perfectly.
So The Fall Guy, directed by David Leitch, starring Ryan Gosling, Emily Blunt, Winston Duke, Hannah Waddington, and Aaron Taylor Johnson. After leaving the business 1 year earlier, battle-scarred stuntman Colt Seavers springs back into action when the star of a big studio movie suddenly disappears. As the mystery surrounding the missing actor deepens, Colt soon finds himself ensnared in a sinister plot that pushes him to the edge of a fall more dangerous than any stunt.
And that
I should
fall
hope so.
is
Stunts should
love.
not be dangerous.
Yeah,
I mean,
what that fall was the friends
that's
he
nice.
made along the way to the ground. Rotten Tomatoes has it fresh with 82% and then an 87% audience score.
Yeah, this movie's banging. I saw it.
I saw it.
I didn't see this movie or even the trailer, but I did see a still photograph on my television.
What'd you think of that?
I cannot believe.
cool.
I cannot believe you
Yeah.
didn't see a trailer because this trailer has been out for 7 months.
Okay.
Because the movie got
I didn't know
pushed.
I was supposed to.
Hold on, no, it's been in front of every single time I've been to the theaters since November.
Yeah.
It's been in front of like every single movie.
I saw Madam Web, Argyle, the things that we reviewed for the show.
It's just
Maybe one other thing
the
that I
preview's
wanted
been
to see.
the preview's been everywhere.
Sure, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
so like
I might have seen part of it, actually.
I actually saw a tweet that said, I am so glad The Fall Guy came out so that I can stop seeing trailers for The Fall Guy.
Yeah.
That's how many
well,
trailers.
when the first trailer came out back in November, the movie was supposed to come out in March.
I got you.
And
All right.
then because of the strikes and a couple of like schedules being moved around, they moved it to May to be the summer movie.
Yeah.
And then just spent another $100 million in
So Noel,
And it's doing well.
you and I, let's discuss The Fall Guy.
Should we ignore Brian?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Can I
wait, who?
talk about other stuff?
I'm sorry, I don't
Oh,
understand
great. So if they're
Without-
ignoring me, I can just say whatever I want.
How do you feel about chaos?
I was...
I hate it. Oh yeah, let's talk about The Fall Guy
Yeah.
without spoilers, and then we can tell the people that we're going to spoil the movie, and then we will proceed to spoil the movie.
You know what? We probably could have this conversation without bothering spoiling the movie, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Because
Fuck-
there's
fuck
not
you
like
He falls.
there's-
He's a
there's-
fall guy.
There's really only one twist in the movie, and we can talk about it without talking about the twist.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, like the reveal.
Sure.
Because I think there's also a good conversation to have about
Theaters.
theatrical experiences.
Yes.
Also.
Oh, that's a good point. All right.
Yeah, so I don't want to tell people
We'll get
go
there.
away, come back, go away. Just
Yeah.
we'll do our
Just
best
stay
to not
here.
spoil if
Yeah.
we're gonna
I
cross the
won't
line.
spoil it.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened.
we're trustworthy.
Yeah.
This fucking guy, no idea.
I might say something that turns out to be what happens.
It's true.
What? No.
What did you think about the movie?
I was really surprised at how much I enjoyed this.
Oh, nice.
I am not a Ryan. I'm not a Gosling boy, a Gosling guy. I'm not a Geisling.
You're neither one.
I'm a Goslet.
Goslet.
I like
Goslet.
that.
I've never been a Goslet. I think
Gossamer?
the first time the
That's
Gossamer.
good. That's really good.
That's good.
The Gossamer.
I've never been a Gossamer. I did not care about what was the one? Was it fucking Notebook?
When he
I
was
didn't
in
care about the
Hercules,
Notebook.
The Legendary Journeys.
25 years ago.
Remember that?
I did
it was
like
him.
the.
He was baby Hercules.
Was it? What did you like, JD? Get on with it.
Barbie.
He was fine in Barbie.
Nice guys.
Nice
It was
guy.
good.
I love the nice guys.
Oh, I never finished it. I liked it, and I've been
Dude.
pushing to finish it.
It's
Nice
great.
guys.
Yeah.
Also, the same writer as this movie.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, nice.
I believe so. Drew Pierce. Yeah.
Cool.
Drew
I didn't
Pierce
get around
did.
to it. Kiss, kiss, bang, bang.
I will.
Also, I
In the
believe
movie.
Drew Pierce. Like
So,
he's,
yeah. Anyway, I've never been a big Ryan Gosling fan. I was a little bit surprised at his comedic offerings in The Nice Guys, but I want to say maybe 10 to 15 minutes into this movie, The Fall Guy, I was flabbergasted. I was like, oh, he's like legitimately funny. I don't know if it's all written, if he was able to do any improv or what have you, but even if it was written, he does it with such natural charm. It starts off with a conversation twixt him and Emily Blunt, his girlfriend in the beginning of the film, and just the two of them flirting back and forth is very charming. It's very funny. He is just hilarious this entire movie. I think it is really well written. I think the soundtrack's great for the most part. I know you had a problem with one of the needle drops.
oh, that's not even the needle. I don't have a problem with the needle drop. I have a problem with the scene.
I think it's well filmed, it's brilliantly choreographed, and engaging the entire time. I did have a problem with the villain plot, which I can't spoil. It was dumb as hell.
And the movie tells you it's dumb.
Yeah.
And it didn't ruin it. It was like
No,
still
no,
like it's
no,
just happening.
The movie,
Yeah, yeah.
the movie is dumb and fun enough that it
Cool.
it feels in place with
Cool.
the vibes of the film.
Yeah, and the baddies are themselves stupid.
Yeah.
So
okay.
the plot is very convoluted, and it was almost like by design as a part of the joke.
Like a bad.
Yeah,
Like
so
they didn't create a good plot.
Yeah,
Right.
But
right.
the problem,
because they're stupid.
yeah. Yeah.
which
They're
is
bad at it.
fine,
Yeah.
until I go, they could have just not done anything because their plan was the good guys could have
Yeah.
not done anything because the bad guys' plan was so bad.
Did the good guys
that
know that?
literally any investigation into it would prove that it's
Oh.
bad. So the good guys could have just like gone and had
Yeah.
coffee and then been fine.
But they but that requires maximum hindsight with
Right.
no
Right.
idea.
Should be like maybe they said that right after the events of this movie. They were like, we should have done this.
In maximum hindsight,
Well, they coulda had
we
some
coffee.
I don't even think maximum
Which actually,
hindsight.
there's a good coffee bit in
Maximum
this.
hindsight?
Speaking of
Maximum
coffee.
hindsight is not an actual term, but I think I want to
It's a
do it
cool
forever, yeah.
term. I like it a lot.
So before we get into it too much, David Leitch, the director of this movie, is a former stuntman.
Oh.
He is responsible. He is half of the team responsible for John Wick.
Oh, okay.
So John Wick 1 was directed by David Leitch and Chad Stahelski, both of them former stuntmen. David Leitch went off to make this Bullet Train.
Oh, that's a great movie.
Bullet
That's
Train.
fun.
I don't think
Yeah.
so. Bullet Train, Hobbs and Shaw. What was the other one? Bullet Train, Hobbs and Shaw. Deadpool 2.
Oh, I just saw it.
Well,
It's fun.
Chad Stahelski went and made 15 other John Wick movies. And one of them did Atomic Blonde.
Oh,
I think
Oh, I don't
David
think I
Leitch
ever saw that.
here,
Oh,
let me-
I love Atomic.
Yeah, that seems cool.
Again, I don't.
Yeah, it's not his type of key.
You were mentioning it's not his type of key.
No.
He needs a different key
Type of key.
a different type.
Yeah.
I can articulate my problems with these movies without like being mean about it. Yeah, David Leitch directed Atomic Blonde. So my problem with all of his movies, looking at them across the board, is that they're overly plotted and twist themselves into knots for no reason. Like it's like they are the anathema of fun because they are overwritten or overplotted or overstay their welcome.
But you felt like that aspect of this one worked. It was good.
There's a
Because
couple
they were
parts in the
stupid
middle
about it.
where I was just
Oh,
like,
okay.
hey,
Enough.
everyone is charming and this is really fun. Let's keep having fun.
Oh, okay.
Like, stop.
Yeah.
Slow down.
Yeah.
Whereas with Bullet Train, it was like everyone knew they were in a movie and they were supposed to be charming. So after a while, I was like, after 2 hours and 20 minutes of that, I was like, okay, I get it.
I
was
will
like a-
say that it was a lot.
It was like
too
a
long.
heightened charming reality.
But it went
Yes.
like an hour and 45 minutes of it's great. But like when you're in the third act,
little
in
much.
the climax,
Yeah.
and the water bottle gets a bit.
Yes. Oh, I like that.
I like it. I
Yeah.
like it in a bubble.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
after all of that
Yeah.
going over and over again, I was just like,
Sure, yeah.
I really need this. I need closure for these characters because now it's
like-
just taking forever.
Yeah.
There's one sequence in this movie where I started to get those feelings, and it's there's a really really intricate car chase fight scene, and they juxtapose it with a karaoke scene, and it just tonally, it's like the joke is the fact that you've got something like two things that are opposite being juxtaposed together. Cool, I get that. That's a good joke. They just keep doing it
No. Yeah.
to the point where it's like I'm forced to think about it too much. Like they keep doing it as soon as like something cool is happening with the action, they cut to the song. The song doesn't seem like it has any relation to what's happening in the action scene, so that's not there. Well, it's just like it was too cute by half. Yeah.
One of his faves.
But the movie itself, all of it, was so fun.
Yeah.
Like
It was a
everyone is super charming. Everything is really well done. The action is wonderful. And Winston Duke should be in every movie.
Winston Duke, I actually found myself wondering, I kind of wish Winston Duke was the main character of this movie. Just because I really liked watching him on screen. And after Us, I was like, I haven't really seen, hasn't really had a starring role that's like a nice big juicy starring role since Us. He's M'Baku, which is but not a starring role.
No, but it was meaty in part 2, but yeah,
Yeah,
not,
so
he
I just
didn't
like,
carry it.
I found myself being like, as much as I'm enjoying Ryan Gosling for almost the first time ever, I was like, Winston Duke, man, he would have been great as this character as well. I think my one big problem with this movie is there is a giant set piece at the end, which is inspired and so fun. But I do think it gets a little bit too big for its own britches. Its britches start to stretch.
That was also a problem with seeing the trailer so many times. Every trailer, there's been like 5 trailers, and all of them have been over 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Not a single action scene did I not see a piece of in the trailer.
Untouched, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. Well, I'm glad I didn't see any trailers.
Yeah, I don't see any trailers. Because I found myself towards the end of the movie being like, well, we haven't done the desert thing yet.
Yeah.
Let's get, I saw that in the trailer 1,000 times.
Oh, we haven't gotten to the helicopter thing.
Oh, yeah, exactly. They showed literally everything in the trailer. It was,
which I hate.
No stone unturned.
It does feel like a really fun love letter to movies and to stunts. Particular, like there's even a line like
Stunts.
He's telling somebody about his job, and someone goes, "Oh, do stunt guys win Oscars for that?" And he goes, "No, no, we don't."
He does it twice.
They all do.
No.
You had mentioned how funny Ryan Gosling is in this, and I like Ryan Gosling, and I always have. And
Team.
Yeah.
Same.
Team Gossamer.
But so
Ryan hater over here.
all right. But anyway, not anymore. If you guys saw, I think you guys saw the Beavis and Butthead sketch that he did on SNL.
Yes.
His comedic acting and just like the way that quick rundown, they're doing this incredibly serious intellectual news show. And there's like an MIT professor there who sees a man who looks exactly like a live action version of Beavis from the 90s cartoon Beavis and Butthead.
Look it up.
It's very
We won't do the
funny.
punchline. Just look it up. It's wonderful.
So he looks just like that. And Gosling's like manner, this like unaware.
Yeah.
And like, me? He's so good at it.
Yeah.
He says hardly anything. What he does say is good. It's funny, but he sells it.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't be nearly as funny if he knew that he looked like Beavis from Beavis and Butthead. He's good.
He has hosted Saturday Night Live 3 or 4 times.
Ooh, almost a 5-timer club.
And they are all banger episodes.
Really?
Really? Yeah.
I feel like I got to go back and check him out.
Really funny.
One sketch caught viral, but Papyrus is really
Papyrus. I love Papyrus.
I don't remember that one.
Apparently, there's 3 of them.
Just watch. Just
Yeah, sure.
Just go on Peacock and watch his episodes. But yeah, no, this movie was really fun. This movie was absolutely worth seeing. Everyone is good in it. It's a little bloated in pieces for me, but it was still so worth seeing. Had a great
Ryan
time.
Gosling had the best hair.
Yeah.
I mean,
His
always.
hair was so good in this movie. I rarely look at his hair and be like, oh my God, that hair. Or anybody's hair. But I was like, because my wife's a stylist. I'm like, I want her to do that. Make me look like that.
And she looked at you and was like,
honey, you're no Gosling.
yeah. I can't turn back time for that.
What did you think of
younger than us?
Emily Blunt?
I
We didn't really talk about a lot of the cast.
Emily Blunt has a mildly thankless job in this movie. She's very charming. She gets a couple of really good punchlines, but she's a bit of the straight guy, and the plot happens to her the whole movie. Yeah. She is not an agent of the plot until the very end, which is by design. That's not like a dig at the Bechdel
She's left
test.
out, basically, purposely. Like she is not part of
the entire
happening.
plot is to hide things from her so she can continue to make her movie. She's the director of this movie. It's her first big break, and he, being in love with her, keeps trying to either shield her or figure stuff out for her so she can continue making her movie. So by design, she's taken out of the plot for most of the movie, but she still feels present. So it's weird. Like, anybody wants to argue about it being like she's irrelevant in the movie, I won't disagree with you. But
until the end, where she is having a blast.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she is all in on what's happening and just kind of almost cackling the whole time. She's having a good time.
It's a fun time at the movies. Get some popcorn, some soda pop.
Yeah.
Perhaps your
Pop,
favorite.
if you live in
perhaps your
areas
favorite
that call it pop.
peanut butter M&Ms.
Yes,
Yeah.
which I condone
good.
peanut butter M&Ms, but I think Goobers are stupid and you should never eat those anymore.
Goobers are delicious.
Goobers are fucking
Goobers,
stupid.
actually, to be fair, Goobers do not taste as good as they did when I was a kid.
Right.
And I keep chasing that high.
It's the shittiest
And I
chocolate.
never get it.
with dry peanuts. Like
Yeah.
what is the
Would you rather wet peanuts?
Yes.
Well, I mean, if they're mealy and dry, yeah. I mean, like not wet peanuts, but like
want
fresh
them wet.
peanuts.
I like my peanuts slimy.
Yeah.
Dane is in the chat saying Ryan Gosling and Mikey Day showed up at the Fall Guy premiere
Yeah.
as Beavis and Butthead.
That's great.
That
That's
is funny.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys should check out that sketch if you haven't seen it.
Speaking of films,
Speaking of film.
Yeah.
this movie, as I said, had
film.
like in the 80s on Rotten Tomatoes, however you feel about that.
80% of Rotten Tomatoes has been advertised for 6 to 7 months,
Like too long.
and excellent reviews leading up.
So, despite all that, it had a very disappointing opening weekend, and it made me think, and someone had commented, well, yeah, because I could probably watch it in a month on
Right.
whatever streaming
Things have
service.
changed and are changing even still.
And so I was just kind of curious, how is there a way that you guys think that we could fix? Because to me, going to the movies has always been a big part of my downtime. Like I love going to movies. I love sitting in the dark, having the popcorn, having the snacks and the candy and everything, and just immersing myself in an experience. That sure, if you have a good TV at home and a good sound system, it's
not the
still
same.
not the same.
It's not the same. You can stop it. You can leave that reality.
Yeah.
And people do that even when you don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also do that in the theater with their phones. which drives me
That's
I will.
true.
Is there a way that we can fix this?
Probably not.
Oh, I don't know yet. I was going to
Maybe.
answer that yet. I was going to talk about why I admire, like why I still love the movie going experience. I've literally had a therapist tell me that it is a safe place to be. You aren't distracted. You're able to tune out. You're like it's
Yeah.
almost meditative to
Calm.
go to the movies.
Yes.
Yes.
No matter what you're seeing, whether it's fucking horror or a silent film, a silent like Italian film, like it's
You are being taken
meditative.
for a ride and a journey while something is accomplished that you feel a part of, but not by you.
It's
you are not asked to do
emotionally
anything.
satisfying, even when it's
Yeah.
harrowing, and you aren't constantly distracted by every single thing in the world.
That's true.
It
You're not
is-
making any choices.
It is a wonderful thing, and at home, no matter what you create, unless you fucking put your phones in a lockbox,
Yeah.
it's not the same.
No.
Unless you don't pause it when you go pee, it's
Right.
not the same.
Right.
Yeah. So I think the movie going experience is
Yeah.
paramount to nothing else.
Yeah.
But it's dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Now
I
there may come something else, right? Like there are drive-in movie theaters sometimes. There are plays that are put on. They're not as big as they once were hundreds of years ago or whatever, but they still exist. And it may happen that movie theaters, there's even like the Colonial movie theater in nearby Phoenixville, my hometown. Colonial is great, and it shows a mix of independent films and old movies, right? And it's awesome. It's a very old theater. It's a great place, and if you live in the area, you should check it out.
Recently renovated. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, and added to.
Yep.
So I think something like that will continue to exist because there's a lot of people, for a while anyway, there's a lot of people that like this experience, right? And I think it will go on for a long time. Is there anything that we can do that we are reasonably likely to do that will save movies?
I think that
You know,
this is a conversation that's been going on for about 5 years. I don't think it's one thing. There's not one thing to solve. So, like, on one hand, every single studio bent over backwards to have a proprietary streaming service and developed content only for it, and then trained their viewers to only look for stuff there.
right. And if
And
it's
then-
not there, it will be soon.
Yes.
And that,
Yeah.
they literally said it would be 45 days. Like Universal literally
Right.
explicitly said what their theatrical window was before it showed up
Yeah.
at home. So the idea of, hey, you've trained your viewers, your audiences to get your content here, to expect the viewership elsewhere for a different premium would be the same
For a
is
much
folly.
higher
Yeah.
premium, if
yeah.
that's how you meant premium.
Yeah.
Well, just in general, like they didn't seem to do like the mental math of we're gonna put it here and we're gonna charge them monthly for it, but we're also gonna put it over here at a $20 premium per
Right.
person.
And people will still
3 or
want to
4
go to
months
the
before.
movies and they'll want to see it right now. But they may not have counted on, there's other stuff that came out 45 days ago that they haven't seen.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
could see that
But-
right now
but also-
and wait for yours.
But also,
yeah.
every other streaming service's premiere TV show,
Yes.
original movie, like
And
it-
TVs have been, TV
glut.
shows have been cooler than movies for a while now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They are longer form storytelling, where movies used to be longer form than individual TV episodes. And it just seems to be where the stories that I'm interested in, the prestige stuff is happening. Whereas movies are, other than some big franchises and notable movies, it's mostly like
it has to be a movie where people feel like they are going to miss something if they don't go see it right away.
yeah.
That used to be only
Well, it was 2 years before you could see something if you missed it in the theaters.
at most, like at least 6 to 8 months, because that's when it would come out on video, and then,
right.
and then 3 to 4 months after that, maybe cable.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And then after cable, it would be licensed to a streamer. Like a movie
that
had,
late even, yeah.
there were multiple revenue streams for a movie to be successful, whereas now it's all or nothing. And that means, I think studios are learning the wrong lesson, as in, well, that means we have to put more money into fewer things in order to like strike.
Right.
When really, I think it should be flood the zone. Like it should be, instead of 4 $300 million movies, it should be like 30 $10 million movies.
Well, which actually is kind of like how. So in the early days of movies before television, I'm sure you don't know that movies were
80s. No,
yes, exactly, the 1880s, and they movies were made. Just a horse
1900s,
going around a thing you spun.
We put a quarter in the
though.
Nickelodeon, and then we watched that.
We moved up and down as we watched. So the movies back then were produced. There was no TV. There were weekly movies, right? And they were produced very, very quickly, within a week. And actors would be signed to this many movies with this studio, and we're just gonna make as many as we can, and we'll finish writing them as they're being filmed. And then TV became the quicker medium, and movies were longer. And I don't know exactly when that happened in relation to each other, but from what I've heard, movie theater attendance has been going down since the invention of television.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So this is not new. That was the only way to see filmed entertainment. Then there was something else. It was also easier and free. And so you could just do that. And so I think that's been happening all along. And there's also a lot of people now that just watch YouTube
it's just
other things online
It's
and not
been
TV.
exacerbated.
Sure, absolutely.
Like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is precipitously happening over the last 100 years, honestly.
Yeah.
But it's exacerbated over the last 10, 15.
I think you can do cooler things
Exponentially.
with less money now. And once that started, TV shows started to look really good. And this is only one of the factors. It's just something that just occurred to me. TV shows started to look really good. And so they ended up getting more money. So they have a lot of money now, and more for a season than a movie costs, I think. But I think that's part of what happened, is that you could do cool things, and also bigger name actors and were interested and what have you.
Pink is in the chat. The Alamo Drafthouse is on my bucket list. If I could have a purely positive experience in a theater, I might be more positive to them.
Like no noise and stuff and people. Yeah.
And then also we wanted to go to a Sunday morning matinee, and they wanted $20 each for a Sunday morning matinee. What theater? Because even here in a top tier market in Philadelphia, $14, $12.
There are some,
like,
I don't know
who
about
wanted
matinees,
20,
but
and they should go away.
Yeah.
Like that's weird. Also, Alamo Drafthouse, I have hit or miss.
Oh, really? I've never been there. I've always wanted to go to the Alamo Drafthouse.
I've been.
Is it in Texas?
Yes,
They have
the original two were in Texas.
They have like a no phone rule. Like you have to go out to the lobby to use the phone, otherwise you get kicked out.
I mean, that should be every.
That should be every.
I gotta
agree.
tell you,
It
though,
is.
like,
It's just not enforced.
the Alamo
you know?
Drafthouse. It's a super cool idea. I went to the one in Austin. I think it was Alamo South, and it was cool. And they had the cool thing with the don't use your phone, and there was a cool gift shop in the middle of like weird movie bespoke stuff. But then there's lights on the whole time because
they serve food.
they serve food. So like
I don't
the
like that
track
part.
lights, you still see, and like the person next to you is eating hot wings, and it's fucking weird. It's
That
just
doesn't really
food
bother
you
me.
can
We have
smell.
a
Food you
place
can
here
smell.
called Movie Tavern, where they do the same thing.
Yeah.
Where they'll bring you your food and you can eat a whole meal during it. That doesn't bother me that much.
I don't care for it.
Okay.
But only
I get it.
because it's not just like someone's eating next to me. It's there's servers
Yeah.
and there's track
Walking a little
lights
in
the
front
whole
of
Is there
time.
anything else you need?
And there's
Can I get you anything?
and
what'll
you're
it be?
Here's your
and then
bill.
at worst, you're also hearing somebody slurp up something.
Right.
And they're just trying to eat in the dark.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah,
also
yeah.
not a good
That is
idea.
kind of-
it's just it's
that
like
is kind
this
of,
isn't like we've added things and just subtracted experience.
Oops, I'm covered in ranch.
Yeah, it's just it's a weird experience. I think the first
Hope
time
no one licks it off me.
I thought it was awesome. Movie Tavern.
I'm trying to be quiet.
Yeah.
I used to go all the time. I really liked it. I got drunk there so many times because
Oh,
you could
yeah.
buy like a $20 giant ass beer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, that's cool.
I bought a ticket to a 3D movie there once.
Oh.
And it was fucking horrible. Because for 3D to work, the light source has to be the brightest from the screen. And you have all these other ambient sources. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
I can't even focus my fucking eyes.
Yeah.
This is awful. Why did you even do this as a just not a like, person? What's the
Movie.
exhibitor? As an exhibitor,
Yes.
Yeah.
why did you should know
Yeah.
that you can't
Yeah.
facilitate this service?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and Pink says to that.
Oh, fuck that.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't
I think that was
like
about people eating buffalo wings next to you. I think
the
that was
Alamo.
when that came in.
The Alamo Draft has this like super cool idea, but like
The-
go to the
so,
Colonial.
Speaking of
Yeah.
speaking
I've
of
never
cell
done
phones,
That's
that,
better.
but Yeah.
speaking of cell phones,
Yeah.
before your showing of The Fall Guy, was there an intro by
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling and David Leitch?
Yeah.
So before it was, don't have your cell phone out. Keep your cell
Yeah.
phone
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
If you have to make a call, go
No.
to the lobby. That sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But they know that no longer works. So now they're sort of begging. It was charming and cute. Like, it was actually funny. But like Ryan Gosling is like, okay, if you're gonna get your phone out, like maybe just have the brightness
same.
down, or like maybe just kind of do it like this.
Yeah.
They're trying, but
That's what the thing is that
people don't care. They're
people,
just so rude.
when they're looking at the phone, it's not a bothersome light because it is their focus of their world.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so annoying. It's
Yeah.
not the noise. The noise is also annoying, but just like seeing that
Yeah.
spot of light
Even
while
if it's,
you're trying to
if the-
watch.
the screen is here,
Yeah.
and there is someone over here with
Yeah.
their cell phone out. I go like this so that because I'm constantly
Yeah.
it drives me nuts.
Now,
Anyway,
I wonder, would that help movie
isn't
theater
helping-
attendance?
This isn't helping movie.
Oh,
theater.
Well,
No,
I wonder if it would help or
No.
hurt
So
if
there's-
theaters were stricter about that.
I think it would in the long term it would help. In the short term it would be impossible to to do. So everybody check your phones really quick. See any texts? Sorry.
I turned mine over because mine kept buzzing.
Yeah, mine too.
Are you
lighting
guys
up.
calling each other? That's weird. No, I think it would overly help, but it would be difficult and almost impossible because theaters are understaffed as it is, and they barely had authority to begin with.
Yeah.
When we managed movie theaters, we were allowed to like kick people out, but also we had to give them a
kick people out.
refund or anyway, like
Yeah.
it depended on what they were doing. But
Yeah,
but if
yeah.
anything, it
It usually didn't come to that. In all the years I worked there,
I
it
kicked
very
some people
rarely
out.
came to it.
I
But
loved kicking people
when you
out.
said
Those
stop
fucking
it,
idiots.
a lot of times they would stop it.
Yeah,
You know.
Well, there was a general respect of the space where if somebody was doing something, you literally just had to walk down the aisle and be like,
Yeah.
"Stop it!"
Yeah.
Like motion to stop it.
Did you ever see anyone
And
on
they
a
would.
date
It was
where
weird.
this only happened to me once, but there was this one of the people on the date was talking a lot, and I don't know if it was like an early date, first, second, whatever. The other person seemed to not be on their side,
Yeah.
but also not say it was just like.
Sorry.
I think the worst experience I ever had in a movie theater was for the remake of The Lion King.
Okay.
The really boring remake of The Lion King.
Live action.
Yeah, it was filled to the gills.
Mm-hmm.
And for every song, there was like 6 phones went up to record the song.
Oh, so songs or phones were already doing that at that time?
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
okay.
like
was only like
2018,
yeah,
2017. It wasn't that
Oh,
long
the
ago.
live
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
The live action one.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was all, I want to say like 17 to 25-year-olds who knew all the words and wanted to
Right.
sing it and record it. And
It'll be out in 45 days.
I am not a violent person and I'm short and pudgy. I was ready to rip throats out. I was like, I don't even like this fucking movie,
Yeah.
but you respect my church. Like, don't be an asshole.
Get a phone that doesn't light up at all.
It was
which would actually be
so
really cool
fucking
for a lot of
infuriating.
reasons.
Sam was like, it's not worth it. I was like, "Grr."
Can I? I have a story about.
So now I go
customer
alone.
Complaint.
Yeah.
Well,
I go at like 2 a.m.
That's the best time, right?
If I can squeeze
you like Sunday at 9
10 a.m. or an 11
I
a.m.
miss,
I go.
I miss
Yeah.
midnight shows.
So we had when I used to work at a movie theater, we had a free screening of one of the Iron Man movies, 2, I think, maybe 3, but 3, and so
2.
It could have been 2. So anyway, it's probably 3.
Yeah.
So they were coming out. I was a manager at the time, and this guy comes up to me, an older gentleman with his wife. He says, excuse me, I'd like to complain about the volume. I said, oh, I'm sorry, sir. Well, you know what? We always try to have it at a good volume for people. Some people like it louder or quieter, but we'll always adjust it if you come out. And he said, yeah, it was so. I said, was it too loud or too quiet? Because I didn't know. He said, it was so loud. It was too loud. So loud, I couldn't even talk to my wife. And I said, well, we really prefer that you don't talk to you. And he said, for a manager, you're a real douchebag. And he flipped me off and he left. And then another guy came up. He was like, I thought the volume was great. An older guy too, right? Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And I was like,
That's
cool.
a great point. Yeah.
Like, we don't want you.
Yeah.
It is that loud.
Yeah.
It is too loud to talk to your wife.
I think
Yeah.
even
That's the setting.
Right.
Yeah.
Too loud to talk to your wife.
This is the I think this is the last last point I'll make. I think it's also even us who want to be good film goers, we're so used to watching things in pieces, in clips, in our homes
Talking
with
during,
people
yeah.
talking during it,
Yeah.
that even we fall back and like mistake in the theater. How many times have you like been with like your wife or a friend and be like, wait, what did I miss? And they're like, you're too loud.
Yeah.
Like, shh. Because like
I don't say shit.
I do that. Yeah.
I don't
say shit. I don't make eye contact with anybody.
I really do
I
not.
barely
I like-
breathe.
Yeah. Sushan might call me
Yeah.
out on this, but I feel like I try not to do that ever.
Yeah.
My wife will ask me a question, and I will start to feel like, well, I think you're probably too loud.
Yeah.
But I can't. You can't blame anybody for that because the movies have become this weird premium, and we are conditioned to not have to. It's like super privileged to not really have to respect anyone's space.
Yeah.
Because there are no ramifications for not respecting other people's space.
Yeah.
Yep.
I pull out my phone, I can do whatever the fuck I want, and no one's going to come in that theater and stop me.
I think it was
That's a
always
problem.
like that to a degree, and then not to a degree. And phones are so new that we have yet to, just like this digital stuff is so new that we have yet to evolve strong, inborn, like almost latent etiquette. But anyway, I think that's about enough about that.
Oh,
Well,
the
I wanted
movie's
to say
great.
the reason I brought it up is because I thought a simple solution to this problem, which is people don't go to the movies. We just spent
you had a solution.
10 minutes talking about how terrible it is to go to the movies.
It's more than 10.
It's just
out.
just lengthening that window. Just lengthening the window between the movies and the streaming. Give it 6 months.
Like
give it
a
8 months. Give it a
stranglehold
year.
that they will create on the movies.
Yeah.
I mean, supply and demand.
Like
If you
De Beers
control
with diamonds.
if you control the demand, you control the supply, and
Yeah,
vice versa.
If you control
so
the
like,
supply, you control.
like,
Well,
can you?
you can generate demand by controlling the supply,
Sure.
and then manipulate the demand.
How would you
I
like one of these
specifically-
things I have in my pocket? I only have 2 of them.
Shut up. I,
really, really want
specifically
it.
have never
have
understood
it.
streaming and how it makes money other than getting new streamers, right? People to pay for a
it.
subscription to the stream
Yeah, and you
service.
pay every month.
I mean, there's also like back end data that they can sell, but other than that,
But like, yeah, just I feel like that tops out, and then you don't get any more money. You've sort of hit your peak of money.
Well, they get it
so
every month.
what is the? But to spend all of that money to make more movies, like most people will just forget to cancel, and they'll be there next month anyway.
it's a loss leader, yeah.
So
There's new stuff that comes out, right?
yeah,
But it has to generate new subscribers. You're already getting money from the previous subscriber.
But you keep getting it, right? You don't subscribe once
Yes,
for life.
yes. But okay, if I do 3 $500 million movies,
Yeah.
and each one has less subscribers, the third $500 million movie will be less profitable because those people have already been there from the first 2. So there is no re-entry. There's no I'll pay again. There's the monthly,
Yeah.
but you're still just using the same population as opposed to growing it because your costs are always growing.
so my question is,
You're like we're not refilling the audience. You're not refilling the pot. You're just the pot's just still the pot.
so my question is, what is the benefit to having a movie like, say, The Fall Guy come out now, and then they release it in a month to streaming? What do they gain from that?
I mean, it won't
Why
go.
not wait?
It won't go. So a movie like The Fall Guy is a different circumstance. It's a theatrical exclusive. If it doesn't do well in the next 3 or 4 weeks, what they'll do is they'll release it on VOD, which means that people that want to watch it at home will have to pay $20 for it to rent
Never
it.
do.
Couple months after that, it'll be on, what is this? What kind of movie is this? Warner Brothers or Universal? Whatever. The streaming's Peacock.
I think it's Universal.
Then it's Peacock.
Yeah.
And then a couple months after that, by September, it'll be on Peacock. And they'll have the 2 revenue streams of theatrical and pay to play VOD for it. But that's it.
Okay. So there's no
This
reason
movie
they
will make
couldn't
its
just
money
wait,
back.
right? So if
Yeah,
they're not
they
going to
can
lose that much
eventually-
money by just waiting to make people.
Yeah.
They can eventually like rent it later, maybe that kind of thing. I don't know how they do their stuff. They have a lot of money anyway.
What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let us
email
know.
us at cultpopgo@gmail.com or tweet at us at cultpopgo on Twitter or X. Fuck off. Thank you so much for hanging
do
out with us.
something else.
And we will talk at you later, probably next week when we are going to be discussing.
We don't know yet.
Mystery
No.
until you see it next week.
Oh.
It's
Okay,
2 weeks from
bye.
now.
Deuces.
Whenever you see
Oh,
it.
Oh, shit, you're right.
bye.
Whatever, you'll see it later.